Say again.
We have you loud and clear, CSA.
Good. It's you.
Thank you, Jeremy. We have many Canadians who are eager to ask you some questions. We're going to start right ahead with those. The first question is from Dia in Mississauga, Ontario.
Do astronauts get special training to do CPR in space? How do you actually do that when there's low gravity?
You just have to help me out with that question. Was that about CPR training? Is that what I caught?
Got it.
That's right, Jeremy. You're asked do you have special training to do CPR in space, and how do you actually do that in zero gravity?
Yeah, it's a great question because we're all alone up here, just the four of us, and if we ever had to do it, we definitely want to plan. And so we talked about it on Earth before we came here, and one of our tests this week was actually to try those techniques out. And we have about 3 different spots in the capsule where we can do it. There's probably one that I can show you in the camera view if I just slide Reed over here. And so what I need to do is support myself and have him against something. So if I put my back here,
We rearranged the wall.
and Reed here, I can push on him. So this is one of our CPR objectives in space. This is actually not the best one, but it's the only one you can see in camera.
Thanks, Jeremy. The next question is from Liam in Elsipogtog, New Brunswick.
And I wonder, do you still see stars in outer space?
Yeah, I was actually just talking to my crewmates about that today. I've definitely seen stars in outer space, and I was saying I haven't seen as many as I thought I would. So, Reed?
We have so much illumination from the sun on the moon and the earth right now. It is hard at times to see stars, just like when you walk out in the daytime, you see a blue sky but no stars. We look outside and we see the black space and no stars. But tonight we're going to be pointed into deep space, and we're going to turn out all the lights in the spacecraft for the first time on the mission. And if you give yourself about 20 or 30 minutes, we do this all the time on the International Space Station. Christina and I just have great fond memories of this. You'll start to see the stars, and if you give it enough time, you will see so many stars. It's hard to see the constellations because there are so many stars out there. And the coolest part of those stars is they do not twinkle at all. They are just perfect. They almost look fake. They're just perfect pinpricks of light. So that is our homework for tonight, Jeremy. We are doing that.
We'll take a picture.
Great. We now have a question from students in Sanikiluaq, Nunavut.
What types of food do you eat in space, and how do you cook it?
Yeah, so I've only been eating space food for a couple of days here, but Christina, she lived in space for pretty close to a year. She's eaten a lot of space food, and so we have a few items here to show you. Christina, you want to help me out?
Sure. Let's see where we're going to pull out. So
my dinner.
This is Jeremy's dinner, and in space you really just eat all of your food out of bags of some kind, plastic bags or little metallic bags, because we have to rehydrate a lot of our food. This is actually shrimp cocktail. And this has been rehydrated already, so we added water to it, and the shrimp soaked back up the water, and it's actually pretty tasty. This is an example of a food that has not been rehydrated yet. It got all dried out for flying up here in space, and those are green beans. So we do have to eat our vegetables even in space, but don't worry, they do give us mac and cheese.
Nous avons maintenant une question dans la salle. Emily.
Bonjour Jérémy, je m'appelle Émilie et je viens de Saint-Bruno au Québec. Sur la Terre, on voit parfois un croissant de lune. Est-ce que lorsqu'on est autour de la lune, on voit un croissant de Terre?
And before I answer that question, I got to go back one. Here's the maple syrup that we opened up and had at lunchtime today. So we had a little bit of Canada on board today, and I shared it with my crewmates, and I think they enjoyed that. So it was great. Pour la question, en fait, oui, on voit des croissants de la Terre, et c'est quelque chose d'incroyable pour moi. Par exemple, la journée avant le TLE, le Translunar Injection, quand nous sommes réveillés, on a vu une demi-terre. Et ça, c'était la première fois que j'ai vu quelque chose de magnifique comme ça. Et pendant cette journée-là, on a vu la Terre au complet et on a vu la Terre noire. Alors, ça, c'était une perspective vraiment unique. And the question was, do we see a crescent Earth just like we see a crescent moon when we're in space? And the reality is we do, and we've seen it all. We've seen a half Earth, partial crescent Earth. We've seen a dark Earth, and when we woke up for TLI, we saw just it looked like a bowl of Earth just sitting there for breakfast in the sky. It was really, really unique.
Thank you, Jeremy. The next question is from Joel in Edmonton, Alberta.
You undertook lunar geology training in Canada, Iceland, and at the Lunar Sample Laboratory facility. Are there any lunar landforms that you're particularly excited to see up close?
Oh, that's
cool. Absolutely. We have done some incredible geology training on Earth, and one of them, as you mentioned, was in Canada at Kamastaston Crater. And I got the honor of training there with Jeremy and Jenny Gibbons and a great team of geologists, scientists from NASA and many institutions. We did learn a lot about how, craters form and a lot about the mineral that makes up the moon. What we are probably most excited as a crew about seeing on the moon would be an amazing feature called Oriental. And it is sometimes known as the Grand Canyon of the moon because it has all kinds of multi-layered crater rims and a lot of different land formations, and it has mare, like kind of lava fields all throughout it in different shapes, and it's very distinctive, and no human eyes previously had seen this crater until today, really, when we were privileged enough to see it. So we can't wait to share more when we get closer to the moon.
Thanks so much. Masab in Vancouver, BC has a question for you as well.
Which movie do you believe is the most accurate representation of space?
Well, there are many great space movies. For our specific example here, one that really captures it, I think, is Apollo 13. Now, we haven't had any major malfunctions like Apollo 13 did, but they ended up on a very similar trajectory to us. And that movie really shows you a lot what it's like with just 3 humans, trapped in a tiny capsule and surviving in space together. So that's just one of many, but it's one of my favorite space movies. You have a space movie?
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
All right, we have another question, Jeremy, from here in the room.
I'm Adelaide from Ottawa, Ontario. How has your family helped you prepare to go to space? And do your kids get time off school?
A lot.
Yeah, of course, in life you do things as a team, and, my primary team is my wife and my 3 kids, and they have been extraordinary in supporting me through this endeavor. Some of the ways that they've helped me is just by giving me grace. Sometimes with this job, I can't be there for them when they would like me to be there. There's a lot of sacrifice from the family, and so they've definitely done that for me. And they've been my greatest cheerleaders along the way. So super grateful for Catherine, Devin, Ashley, and Caitlin. And did they get time off school? Well, yes and no. So they had time to come to quarantine and be with me to support me in the launch. But what it meant was they were doing a lot of homework, doing a lot of self-study, and they were still getting it done. They were just getting it done from quarantine.
Thanks. Parker from Apsley, Ontario, has a question.
Why does water become spherical in space?
Well, my three crewmates lived on board the International Space Station for a significant amount of time, and so they've done a lot of playing with water, and so they were giving me a tutorial today at lunch. So maybe I'll just get Reed to give you the tutorial that he gave me right now. Oh, let me... Well, here you can see the spherical balls that I just let loose on the cabin.
You got one coming.
All right, Reed. There's another one going over there, but it's really the surface tension. If you ever just see a little drop of water on your finger, even though it looks like a convex little drop on your finger in space, that surface tension is all around. So it just creates a perfect bubble because there's no gravity to act on it. And so it just stays in this perfect sphere, and it actually becomes a lens. And earlier today, we were laughing because we could make Jeremy's face go upside down or right side up, and it's pretty amazing. It's fun to play with water in space.
Victor's sending us a towel to clean up the mess.
Thanks for that demonstration. We now turn to Jackson from Calgary, Alberta.
How did you get to be on the Artemis II mission?
I'll answer while Jeremy's making a nice water bubble for you. How did Jeremy get to be on the Artemis II mission? Jeremy and I were selected as astronauts together back in 2009, and he was a member, obviously, of the Canadian Space Agency, and I was a member of NASA. And when Jeremy interviewed to be an astronaut, our chief astronaut, Peggy Whitson, was on their board. And Peggy came back from that interview and said, if Canada doesn't hire Jeremy, NASA will hire Jeremy. He did that well. So I think if you go through Jeremy's life, he grew up just a very inquisitive kid. He had huge dreams. He saw a picture of Neil Armstrong in an encyclopedia a long time ago walking on the moon, and it just sparked his curiosity and his imagination. And he always tells people that the most important thing when you have a dream and an aspiration is that you tell people, you talk about that. Some people may not believe you can do it, but you know you can do it. And the more you talk about it, the more people will begin to believe that you can make your dreams come true. And that is exactly what Jeremy did. So he turned his tree fort into a spaceship, and he became a fighter pilot in the Royal Canadian Air Force. And then he got to the Canadian Space Agency in 2009, and the rest is history.